I guess it's like education is really kind of at the heart of all of it, but in knowing the history of the attempts of the ag park, I think like there's just these layers that just kept getting added, and the idea, the grand idea, just kept growing and growing into, okay, we're not just building a pavilion, we're developing this center for agriculture.
Many of the vendors here wanted to create a permanent home for the market. So that's where this all started, and it was a couple decades in the making. And it kind of worked out that Clary Shy Park, located next to the Arc off of West Ash Street, really became a good spot for that.
The city's basically just been holding for us these 10 acres to build something. And it really took all of the right partners coming together to kind of start this. I mean, we're all these independent organizations, the Columbia Farmers Market, Columbia Center for Urban Agriculture, Sustainable Farms and Communities, and then Parks and Rec. And so we came up with the name Friends of the Farm to kind of become this collective of nonprofits that would fundraise and design and build the ag park.
And you could kind of really combine growing food, selling food, and make it a commerce and educational space.
The current buildings that are constructed at the ag park right now is the MU Healthcare Pavilion,
the one-room schoolhouse, the children's playground, CCUA's barn and greenhouse, and then the urban farm itself,
which is the 3-acre production site. So all the food that they grow there is then donated to local food pantries.
We opened here in July of 2019. We had record-setting crowds reaching almost 8,000 people on that opening day.
The community feedback was they wanted to see it, and they were so excited that it finally happened. And it's a beautiful space. You know, I mean, we took a lot of time in planning that. Probably the first and foremost important features of the pavilion was to make sure that they had big enough stalls, that they had electricity, that we had running water, and that they had parking spots.
The pavilion is basically a permanent structure built on a concrete pad. So the vendors can pull up each Saturday and back their trailers up. They can load right onto the pad into their spot where they sell the product.
And we have so much electricity running through that building for large equipment, whether, coolers or food trucks or fans on, hot Saturdays during the summers.
Having a year-round farmers market is unique.
We have drop-down vinyl walls. We basically zip this whole pavilion up, and we have heaters in here, and I'm still blown away every winter with the amount and the quality and the variety of fresh produce that shows up here in the dead of winter. I don't think that the playground was in the initial plans, but it was one of the best things that we added. It's definitely a huge draw for the families that come on Saturdays, but also for people just coming to the park, because there's a lot to see here all during the week, not just on Saturdays. It's grown a lot over the last, since I started. We still have buildings to construct, and the Welcome Center will have an event space for around 125 people. A commercial kitchen that'll be rentable to the community, food entrepreneurs, teaching classes. It'll have multiple stations, and then kind of a catering kitchen that the event space can use. There'll be offices for CCUA and for CFM, and then there'll also be a resource center that the community can rent gardening tools or books about home gardening, those kinds of things. It's kind of crazy to take a step back and just think about what it was when I started on this chip and seal parking lot and porta potties, to where we are now in this beautiful park with the MU Healthcare Pavilion and breaking records left and right.
Winning #1 farmers market in the nation for the American Farm and Trust competition really put us on the map, and a lot of people are starting to look to our market as a model for how they can replicate that in their own communities.
something that just like makes me smile every time I think about it is the community support that we have received. And I mean, from the donors to the vendors to the community organizations, like all of these people have come together to make this happen. Like, it's not just us, it's not just CCOA, it's not just Parks and Rec, it's 30 years of our community working together trying to make this happen. And it happened, you know? And we're just getting started. Like, I can't wait to see where we're at in 5 years and 10 years. You know, we have these ideas of what we want to do, like in the new event space when that's finished. But I mean, we'll have to get settled in there and really see what we can do. But I imagine that there's so much more that we're not even thinking about that we can do and that park's gonna offer Columbia and mid-Missouri.